Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. A lot went down in this episode, so let's just get right into this review. So during this new episode of Jersey Shore Family Vacation, Ron ended up finally coming face to face with the rest of the cast after being absent from the show for 2 years. Now, this does end up putting everyone in a really awkward position because not only is Sam on this trip, but her boyfriend is also on this trip too, which I have to say I do like Sam's boyfriend so far. He seems like a really cool, chill guy, really easygoing, and I like that he didn't get upset at all the questions that the cast were asking him when they first met him, and I love that Sam was able to handle it because last season there was a lot of drama because the cast was asking Angelina's new fiance a lot of questions, and she got really offended by that and she didn't like it, so I was glad that Sam was actually able to handle it differently. Now, Mike ends up getting really nervous when he gets a text message from Ron saying that he's on his way to the hotel because obviously he didn't know that Ron was going to show up for this particular trip. He did ask Ron to come on one of the trips so that he can talk to all the cast members, but he did not know that Sam was coming back at the time that he said this to Ron, and so now he's really nervous because he doesn't know how Sam is going to handle it. But I love that Lauren is a problem solver because she ended up telling Mike that he needs to go to Sam and Justin first and let them know that Ron is coming before he goes and tells everybody else. It's just the right thing to do, and I was glad that she put that out there because I do think that it's only right for Sam to find out first so that she's not blindsided. Now, when Mike nervously tells Sam and Justin that Ron is on his way to the hotel, you can tell that Sam is really uneasy because they had a really toxic relationship. From what we were able to see on the show, they were both very toxic to each other. Things got really messy between the two of them. We don't know what happened between the two of them outside of the show. We only know what we saw on the show. But she seemed really uneasy, and they did break up back in 2015, and they haven't seen each other, nor have they spoken to each other since. And so Sam said that she did not want to see or speak to Ron at all. And I think that that was great that Mike came there and let her know this so that she can have a choice in the matter of whether or not she wanted to see him or if she didn't want to see him. And so Mike ended up telling Justin and Sam that because she doesn't want to be around Ron, they can go spend the rest of the day together away from the rest of the group. And that's exactly what they ended up doing. Now, after Mike ended up telling Sam and Justin about Ron coming on the trip, he ended up going to the rest of the roommates and gathering them all in one room and letting them know about Ron coming too. And some of them seemed a bit reluctant to have Ron there because at the end of the day, they were really affected by his actions. They felt like had they would have supported Ron, they would have looked like they were supporting domestic violence, and nobody should condone domestic violence, and they don't either. And so they really didn't want to be associated with that. And then on top of that, they were really nervous that because of Ron's actions, they weren't going to be able to continue doing the show. Now, although we know that Mike can understand why the roommates are nervous to have Ron back on the show again because they don't know if he's really changed and a lot of his actions have really affected them, I do like that Mike stepped in and said, well, look, he's made a lot of mistakes as well in his life. He ended up having to go to rehab multiple times. He fell out with all the roommates too because he was doing a lot of things to them that weren't right. He was hurting all the people around him, making legal mistakes and everything like that. And the roommates were able to let him come and speak his piece and prove that he was a changed person. And he feels like Ron should be able to do the same thing. And I think that Ron should be able to do the same thing too. And if he messes up again, then just keep him off the show and don't have him back anymore. But I do think that he deserves a chance to show that he's changed and at least make amends and speak his piece. When Ron ends up walking into the room, everybody looks nervous, including Ron, because Ron was actually really stumbling over his words when he was trying to explain himself and apologize to all the roommates. Now, he did end up taking full accountability for all of his actions, for everything that he did to them, for everything that he did to everybody else in his life, because he said that he didn't realize that he was really hurting everybody else. He thought that he was doing more harm to himself and that he was being really selfish. And I honestly got emotional when I watched this scene because not only was Ron crying when he was talking about how he lost everybody that he loved the most in his life, but Nicole was crying, Angelina was crying, and Mike was crying too, and it just got me really, really emotional because you can tell that they all really do love each other and that they really all truly want the best for Ron. We've seen over the years that they really have tried to help him. They've tried to give him advice, and Ron wasn't really trying to take anybody's advice because at the end of the day, you have to change when you're ready to change. And I do feel like he has made a change, and I'm hoping that he sticks to this. But it was nice being able to see him talk to the roommates and really be vulnerable. I feel like if Sam's boundaries are respected, then I think that it's okay for Ron to be back on the show. Like, if she doesn't want to talk to him, I don't think that they should ever make her have a conversation with him unless she requests to have a conversation with him. I don't think that they should put them next to each other. Like, if they're all at a dinner table, you can put them on completely different ends of the table where they don't even have to look at each other nor speak to each other. And I feel like if those boundaries are respected, I feel like Ron should be able to be a part of the show. And then if he does mess up again, just take him off the show, and he knows that he won't be a part of it anymore. But for now, I think that they should give him another chance.